What is up, YouTube? It's me.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
We have 6 minutes until NFP comes out, and this is what I'm looking at across the board for all pairs. Now, I always wait until after the news hits to look for actual moves. Waiting before news hits is a gamble, and we're traders, we're not gamblers. We wait for price to move in the way that we want it to, with our breaks of structure, our sweeps of liquidity, all that stuff, but we're not looking at the high volume move that the news provides. That's a gamble. That's how you fail prop challenges. That's how you blow your own account. Currently in the Forexfundys chart here, you could see that right now, obviously the last NFP was bad, last unemployment rate was bad, and average hourly earnings last time was good. This could switch bad as well. Currently, the US dollar is showing a low score of a -16 right here. Euro's not doing too well, as kind of reflected by the chart. If we go over to the euro, we see that for the last couple of weeks, they haven't been performing too well, and you can see across the board on other pairs like euro GBP. Yeah, see, euro GBP has been getting slaughtered. I was looking for a short up here, but she hasn't come up there yet. In the event that the NFP numbers are low, I can probably expect another leg on the upside, but I'm going to be looking for the retracement on the way down. Likewise on NZD/USD, if it pops up, we're just going to be looking to short from around this region, because usually news or candles reverse depending on how significant they are. Similar as AUD/USD, I'll be looking for a short around here. And euro to me does not look too clean, even though, so maybe a short around here. News wise, let me just show you that this week on the chart we have a bunch of 5-star heavy hitters with unemployment rate, employment change for CAD as well, NFP, unemployment rate. This is where we have all of our news categories. All right, back over to the actual chart to see what kind of damage NFP does. We have about 25 seconds. And in the event that it's actually good for the dollar, I think NZD/USD is looking very tasty for the long from this region here. Under 57, big figure. See what happens. And if we get a whipsaw, it's not great price action. We go in the M5. So it looks like for NFP, we have got lower numbers than expected. However, unemployment rate did drop, meaning a lot of people are dropping out of the labor force. Like, they've probably given up. Usually when they get their surveys, whether they're looking for jobs or not, they're not participating anymore. And for CAD, they increased by 8.2 thousand jobs. They're expected to lose, and unemployment rate went up. Again, quite opposite of what the US dollar. CAD looks like they've added jobs, but unemployment rate went up, meaning that people are probably holding multiple jobs. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of a whipsaw here with this mixed news reaction. Let me just check actually what the average hourly earnings stayed the exact same, so nothing too much there. We do have consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock. Looking at the euro right now, is this a tradable candle? I don't really like this too much. I don't trade anything within the actual NFP candles. I wait until either side is swept. This is a kind of nasty whipsaw, given that it's kind of mixed news with lower numbers, but lower numbers are actually added for the jobs, but higher unemployment rate, lower unemployment rate.
Idiot!
What I'll do right now is check and see what the CAD pairs are doing, if they have cleaner price action, because a lot of the times they do. See, looks like we're shorting against the CAD. Well, we're shorting the CAD. The CAD was sitting at a -5. They don't have as many news events as euro and US dollar do, so that's why they look a little bit heavier weighted sometimes. And NZD, for example, has very few news events, and they were all late in mid-December, so just do our markups on the CAD pairs. I would like to probably see a little retracement from around this region on the euro. This could be pretty nice given how weak the euro is. GBP is a little stronger, so yes, I wanted to long from here yesterday. We didn't get the price action needed to do that. And NZD would probably be nice from around here. So we'll set our alerts on all these currencies and we just sit and wait. GBP have to wait for these equal highs to get destroyed. But Euro CAD is probably looking like the #1 contender for the day. This way you can see the difference between strength between currencies. Look at AUD CAD, look at those candle closures versus Euro CAD. The Euro is clearly having a weaker day, so this is called Divergence. This is a PDF that I can send any one of you who is interested for free. Just shoot a comment and I'll send that to you. GBP CAD, quite similar to AUD CAD, that is. And NZD CAD, very similar as well. Our alert is right up here. Just gonna take a look at financial juice real quick. You just want to take a look at this just to make sure that Trump isn't speaking or anything, or any FOMC members, because they usually talk about interest rates, which moves the markets a lot. So because the jobs was a little bit lower than expected and inflation has been a lot better, one of the US Secretary Bessent urges more Fed rate cuts, and you can kind of see that US dollar is being shorted right now with everything else going up, even the euro just a tiny bit. I am switching over to the 3 minutes because you can see things a little bit better and it's a little bit easier to trade off of the 3 minutes or the M5 on these NFP or CPI days when you're looking for the counterparty trade. Australian US dollar is almost in our zone. However, remember with the divergence theory is that assuming this gets up here, is everything else going to stop, or is everything else going to get to its intended pool? Euros is way higher. NZD USD is showing a lot of strength, and it's probably going to get to its area soon as well. I'm going to be getting alerts soon. GBP USD, is it close to the area? It's kind of close, so they're all probably going to short around the same time if they do. Alright, things look like they're gonna fall soon, but I suspect that this is possibly a false move, given that we're not in greatest areas to short from. What I like to do is order them. NZD looks the strongest right now. Second is Aussie. Third is GBP USD. Looks like a nice break. Like if this was above here, I'd be interested in selling. And lastly is the Euro. No equal highs, so we'll take a look. So as it stands, we do have our little break of structure, but usually wait until the fair value gap is formed, and you have to wait a couple minutes for that, about 1 minute 55 seconds. And the final target, if I was to actually get in this short, would be the wick low right here. Usually news candle lows or highs, usually they get swept. Don't take my word for it, you backtest that if you'd like. But so far it looks like this is the false move, like I mentioned earlier, because this fair value gap is getting smaller and smaller, and that's not what we want.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
As Waka Flocka would say, that's the stuff I don't like.
Sneak designs, that's that shit I don't like.
Or Eddie Munson, rest in peace.
I don't like this.
You can make a case on the Aussie dollar that, wait, this fair value gap is pretty nice, but did we break below? No, we did not, so we're not going to take it. See, because I'm picky on my trades and filtering them, I know that a lot of people are probably interested in shorting GU right now from here, which is okay. I just want to see this area swept again. On the M1, however, this is actually decent price action on the way down, so I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it drops, but I'm just gonna wait it out. Usually on good setups, you have a couple minutes to make decisions when you're in these areas. Sometimes it will literally just tap it and then drop, which I'm okay with. Aussie dollar could break very soon. Candle closes in 15. Okay, so that candle did close. Yeah, let's play around with some stuff. It's a decent fair value gap that we have here. So what I like to do to ensure that I don't get missed on setups, usually the spread is a little bit worse on this, so 8 pips. We'll Covered by 1.5. Okay. The worst place I can get in is at 933 and the best 951. So time to just do calculations. Okay, so I've done my calculations. Entering off of 3.3, it's about 8 lots for the account size that I have. So we're just gonna wait. I have moved the stop loss up because one of the brokers has a little bit higher spread. So I just like to keep it uniform across all accounts. Just look at this on the M1. Oh yeah, one thing I like to look at is how the M15 closed as well. That's a pretty decent close. I know you can argue there's a big fair value gap, blah blah blah. See, if you got into the GBP, you'd be in a tiny bit of profit right now if you got in right off the fair value gap. NZD has not broke yet. NZD is clearly one of the stronger ones on the day. Euro, I wouldn't be surprised if we see down. Yeah, Euro is down. I don't like the price action as much. That is a nice fair value gap to enter from though, but I don't like the price action as much. So we're sticking to our AUD. Just gonna watch how it reacts before choosing to enter or not.
No! 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 No!
It's a decent reaction. I hope it just pops back in and just doesn't drop without me.
No!
This drops without me. Oof. But because they're not all in the area that I said I want to enter, I don't know about this one. The Atom 5 though. I probably look silly here not taking that, but if we have a closure around here and then we retrace, okay, then I have a lot more confidence in taking it. That'll be 2 legs now. Usually trades give you a couple of minutes to decide like whether you want to get in or not off of the areas that you set. And then there's the one-off situations where they could literally just tap your area for a couple of seconds like you guys just saw and just leave, which could be today's case. I just wanted to wait, but this is a really good example on making sure that you know where your entry target is. If you're waiting for this fair value gap, like the more optimal area at the 953, 952 area that I said earlier, you'd be missed. I minimum target 2%, and you wouldn't have been missed, but if you waited like some people, yeah. GBP looks interesting now, GU, because it has the second leg, like I said. I know I expected it to get swept, but I think the second leg looks pretty decent now. Once again, minimum area for me to enter is 331. Okay, so I figure out the lot size for this. So if this retraces in this area, then I'm up for it. If not, it's a miss and it's a no trade week. We've put an alert here on GBPUSD, so I'm just gonna be watching this, and we still have our alert on AUDUSD. I know my lot sizes for each one, so we're ready to execute on whichever one comes back. Usually around 9:30 you see a little bit of a mix in volume. I'm just hoping that 9:30 volume takes us up into our area for shorting this. Have to be cautious though, because there is news at 10 o'clock, which is consumer sentiment. Usually doesn't move price too much, but typically when you're in a funded evaluation or in a funded challenge or funded, they don't like you to hit stop loss or take profit during that time. So have to be very cautious. In the meantime, I'm just chilling while waiting for entry. It looks to me like GBP is probably going to be the top contender here for the day. Come on, Mario Mushroom. Push price. Push price. Just watch that work. That'll be the new trading advice for 2026. Use your Mario Mushrooms. I could see just from the AU here that she's also dropping. Brutal. For context, as well, this is not the first time that this has happened. There was a CPI or NFP event on GBP CAD sometime in December, which, let me see if I can find the trade for you. So obviously I write down things sometimes when I'm trading, and I said I'll have to see M1 rejections inside. So I liked this setup. It was a beautiful M5 candle on the way down, and it literally just tapped my area. Just tapped it and dropped. Kind of like what happened with AUD USD, but this one was way AUD USD. You saw I had about 5 to 10 seconds to make that decision to sell. This one was 1 second decision, and I didn't get in. Like I said, 9:30 usually pushes some volume, so hopefully we can get into the area, but price on the currencies that I want is just kind of chilling around. It's probably waiting for that last news event. Given that we have 25 minutes until that news event, even if price gets to my area, I'm not going to take it. Like I said, I don't want any violations or anything. I don't want to take a risk on news events. I have no control, and this is what you guys should take from this. I have no control over what the NFP numbers are, what consumer sentiment numbers are, but I can't control how I react entering after it. Trading before news, in my mind, is pretty much a gamble. There's no reason to be doing that. When you're a trader, you want to be in control of your environment or situation or whatever, and it's kind of like flipping a coin. You lose a lot. You could have a really good setup, but depending on news to bring you to take profit is not a good thing, and that's how you blow account, and that's why 95% fail. I will tell you what I will do though. However, if price gets in my area after news, so after 10:02, like when I'm allowed to do it, then I'll be open for an entry depending on how good or bad the news is for the US dollar. I'm hoping is that it's good for the US dollar, just because it has been beaten up in the last couple of weeks. It's gained a little bit of resurgent strength with the US Venezuela stuff. Remember, US is one of the safe havens, one of the 3 safe havens within Forex currencies. There's usually a little bit of uncertainty since Trump came into office with like the tariffs and stuff, but right now it looks like it's regaining some of that safe haven status, even though it's not performing well. Like with the CPIs, they're looking at rate cuts and stuff. Gotta see, what are you saying, CAD? Did I miss out on any CAD stuff? This was so not clean, but again, I wanted it from this area. That would have been pretty sick. And just to follow, if we were in this pair, we'd be kind of chilling around maybe about a little bit over 0.5%. It would have hit a peak of 1%. My Friday rules, actually, if I'm up 1% on a Friday, for example, given that it's the end of the week and I haven't taken any trades, or even if I do take trades earlier in the week, I do roll my stop loss to 1%. So I can't even count this as a full win if it does go to take profit, because I know I would have been rolled out around here. So when I journal this like as a miss, or as a not really a miss, a trade that I didn't take, it's only going to be a 1% trade instead of a 2% if it does go to take profit. Reason for my Friday rule, again, it's a really good way to end off the week. If you've lost earlier in the week, I haven't taken any trades this week, but if you've lost earlier in the week, I just like to roll the stop to 1%. You end off at 1%. Guess what? You woke up probably not expecting any trades today, and you're 1% richer than you were this morning. Like I said, news in 5 minutes. Price has made its way closer to TP. Usually if it comes close enough and then comes back to me, I won't take it because price has already done 70 to 80% of the work on the way down. Why do I think it's going to come back to me and then come back down? If it comes down to around here, I'm down to take it. But if it comes all the way here, we've probably done 75% of the work right there. Got a few minutes for the news event. Well, a few seconds, I mean. See what that does. Usually consumer confidence does not do too much, especially on the day of NFP. As we can see here, not much. Unless the number just stayed neutral. So checking out Forex Factory, the number was a little bit better. So that's going to show up on our Fundys chart. When that updates, you're going to see the whole picture on the Forexfundys chart and what has changed. Remember, it was at a minus 16 before for the US dollar before the day started. Well, we're off for today. One of the most important parts is knowing when to stop trading. It's revenge trading. I know I did not get tagged in the positions I wanted. I kind of flaked out of AU.
What a pussy.
When I had the chance to, and GBPUSD kind of left without me. Remember, AU doesn't count as a full TP just because of my 1R rule. What would GBP have done if I tagged in? It probably would have even given me the opportunity to roll. That would have probably been a full TP, but so as you could have seen that we would have hit take profit on AUD had we not had that Friday rule, and GBPUSD had we been able to get in. What is up, everyone? We're just waiting on the updates right now. It usually takes about 20 minutes to update every about half hour for the Forexfundys sheet. But yeah, what I'm showing you right now is to show how to be mindful of your price targets. Because look at this. Imagine you're in AUD USD, the trade that I just did not take.
What a pussy.
I wanted a little bit more confirmation. Obviously, that came down literally within 1 minute. But look at this. My take profit would have been right here at the bottom of the wick. Like I said, usually news wicks get swept. And imagine you were in this trade. You're up 2%. Probably hit a peak of 2.5%, which is pretty sick. But say you were a little bit greedy with your target. You wanted to target this weekly low over here. That's what I have as my blue lines, my weekly lows. My dailies are the red. Imagine you're looking to be greedy, and here you are. You're probably at 0.5%. You literally risked 2% of your trade to try squeezing out this last little bit. Be mindful. It's Friday. Take your profits. Okay, so now looking over at the Forexfundys chart, like I said, NFP has remained the same at a -5 because it did a little bit worse than expected. Average hourly earnings came in as expected, so that gets a 0 score, and unemployment rate actually went up. So this flipped from a -5 to a +5, which should strengthen the US dollar within our chart here, which was at a -16 before. And we also had pretty good preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment, and that shows up as a +2 on our chart here. So we're sitting at a -8 now, which explains why US dollar went up a little bit today. Obviously, it's reversing after taking all the liquidity that I talked about earlier. I'm not interested in taking anything. I'm done for the day after those misses, but it is what it is, and on to next week. I hope you were able to learn some gems from this and learn some of the advice that I'm giving. And yeah, peace.